Mark was just a single dad trying to give his daughter Lily a normal life. That evening, carrying groceries in one hand and Lily's tiny fingers in the other, he decided to take the shortcut through the woods. The air was quiet, almost too quiet, until a faint sound broke through, a muffled sob that made Lily stop in her tracks. Her little hand gripped his tighter, her wide eyes scanning the trees. Following the sound, Mark's heart pounded harder with each step. Then he froze. There, in the fading light, was a young woman bound cruelly, her arms tied above her as she hung from a thick tree branch. A crude sign was pinned across her chest with jagged handwriting that read, "White man don't forgive." The sight was unbearable. Her clothes were torn, her face bruised and swollen, but her eyes, those eyes, pleaded silently for mercy, for someone to notice her suffering. For a moment, Mark's breath caught in his throat. He glanced around, fear cutting through him. Whoever had left her like this might still be nearby. It wasn't just his life on the line, Lily was with him. But before doubt could settle, Lily whispered softly, "Daddy, we can't leave her." Those words pierced through his fear. Mark looked again at the broken figure in front of him. He could see the pain, the injustice, and the fragile thread of hope clinging to life in her gaze. In that moment, he knew there was no choice. He had to help. Mark's mind raced as he stood there, torn between fear and duty. He had always lived a quiet, careful life, doing everything to protect Lily since her mother passed away. Now, danger stood right in front of him. Whoever tied that woman there had meant for her to suffer, maybe even die. What if they came back and saw him trying to free her? He imagined the headlines, the risk, the danger to his daughter. But then he looked down at Lily. Her innocent eyes were fixed on the woman, wide with worry, her small lips trembling as if she could feel the stranger's pain herself. She tugged at his sleeve, whispering with a courage that seemed too big for her tiny body, "Daddy, she needs us." Mark's chest tightened. He knew he could walk away, pretend he hadn't seen anything, but he also knew the image would haunt him forever. And what would he teach Lily if he turned his back on someone so clearly in need? Fear was real, but so was humanity. Taking a deep breath, Mark squared his shoulders and stepped forward. The woman lifted her head weakly, her swollen eyes meeting his. It was a look that held no words, only a desperate question, "Will you leave me too?" Mark reached up, his hands trembling but firm. "You're safe now," he murmured, though his own heart hammered in doubt. In that moment, he chose compassion over fear, because some chances are worth taking. Mark's fingers fumbled with the rough knots, the ropes cutting deep into the woman's skin. Every tug made her wince, but she didn't cry out. Lily stood close by, holding the flashlight from Mark's phone with both hands, her little face set with determination. The beam shook with her trembling, but her eyes never left the woman's face. Finally, with one hard pull, the last rope gave way. The woman collapsed forward, and Mark caught her just before she hit the ground. Her body was weak, trembling from exhaustion. She tried to speak but only managed a whisper, her voice hoarse and cracked, why would you help me?" Mark met her eyes, his own filled with quiet resolve. "Because no one deserves this," he answered softly, his words steady even though his heart was still racing. He adjusted his grip, cradling her as if she were fragile glass. Lily crouched beside them, pulling a small napkin from the grocery bag. She carefully dabbed at the dirt and blood on the woman's face, her innocence breaking through the heaviness of the moment. The woman's lips quivered, as though she hadn't felt kindness in years. For a moment, silence filled the woods, broken only by the sound of leaves rustling overhead. Mark stood, supporting the stranger against his shoulder. He didn't know who she was, what had happened, or what danger might still be lurking. But he knew one thing for certain, leaving her behind was never an option. Together, they began the walk out of the darkness, back at Mark's small but warm home. The woman lay on the worn couch, wrapped in a blanket Lily had insisted on giving her. The soft glow of a lamp filled the room, chasing away the shadows of the forest. For the first time, Mark could truly see her. Beneath the bruises and dirt was a woman of strength, though now fragile with pain. After sipping a little water, her voice steadied. "My name is Emma," she said quietly. Mark blinked in surprise. Emma Cole, the young CEO he'd only ever read about in newspapers, the one known for building an empire and being relentless in business. People called her untouchable, untamable. Yet here she was, vulnerable and broken in his living room. Mark couldn't hide the disbelief in his eyes. Emma noticed and gave a bitter, shaky laugh. "Strange, isn't it? Out there I'm powerful. In here, I'm just human." She paused, her gaze dropping. "They tied me up because of who I am, because of my race, because I wouldn't bend to their threats. I thought no one would come." Her words cracked, and tears slipped down her cheeks. Mark didn't know what to say. He only placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. Lily climbed up beside Emma and leaned her small head against her arm. The gesture was so pure, so simple, that Emma broke down, sobbing into her hands. In that moment, she realized something money and success had never given her, the undeniable power of kindness. In the days that followed, Emma slowly regained her strength under Mark and Lily's care. Mark cooked simple meals, and Lily became her constant companion, chattering about school, drawing pictures, and reminding Emma of the innocence the world hadn't completely lost. The harshness in Emma's eyes softened, replaced by gratitude and a quiet determination. One morning, as sunlight streamed through the window, Emma looked at Mark and said, "You didn't just save my life. You reminded me what it means to live for something greater than yourself." She revealed her plan to use her influence and resources to support families like his, single parents struggling to keep hope alive, people often overlooked in the rush of the world. Mark shook his head humbly. "We didn't do anything extraordinary. We just did what was right." But Emma smiled through tears. "That's exactly what makes it extraordinary." Just then, Lily ran in with a crayon drawing. 3 figures holding hands beneath a bright yellow sun, with the words, "Family means love," scribbled in her messy handwriting. She handed it proudly to Emma, who pressed it to her heart. Tears welled in Emma's eyes as she whispered, "Forgiveness may fail, justice may falter, but love never does." In that small home, a bond had been forged not by blood or business, but by compassion. And for the first time in a long time, all 3 of them believed the same thing, that even in a broken world, kindness could still heal.